Good morning to Rob Earnshaw. Right, Rob, Arteta called for fire before the game. Well, he didn't get that, but they are through. So does he care about anything else other than the fact they're through?
To them, I know the effort, the commitment that they put in. So it's a lot of work behind it. We've done something that has never been done in the history of our club in 140 years. So that tells you the difficulty of that. We have to do it as well in a very special way, missing a lot of important players. Big credit to that, and I'm especially happy to our supporters because they were right behind the team today. And we're going to have two magical nights, one in Madrid and another one here in London against Atletico. So very proud of that.
Noni came off, was limping at the end. What is that injury and how
I don't know. It was something in his knee, so we had to take him off. So I don't know the extent of that.
You spoke about the fire before the game. Do you feel like you got that fire out of your players tonight?
100%. And especially I saw that in moments of difficulty, when we give the ball away in circumstances that is not very much like us, how willing everybody is. Declan yesterday, he was shattered. He had no chance to play today. He wasn't feeling good at all today. He played 94 minutes at the level that he's done. Piero the same. Every single player is putting everything through the line to contribute, to give his best, and I really value that from the team.
Declan stepped up as captain. We've noticed that there's been games this season where Gabriel's worn the armband when Rice has been on the field. You've made the decision to give Rice the armband now. What's behind that?
They made a decision, and they made a decision because Declan, I think, has earned as well the status, the role, the way he's taking ownership as well in difficult moments. And yeah, he's a great leader. He's a top player for us, and I love that the players take that ownership.
Do you think that this kind of narrow progression into the semi-final can really help you now heading into Sunday's game?
100%. This is a massive boost. I mean, to be in a semi-final of the Champions League, it's extremely tough. And we know what we've done. We deserve it, fully deserve it as well. And we're going to enjoy it because we deserve it.
Absolutely not. And he shouldn't care either. Of course, there's going to be questions and frustrations. That comes with the press conferences, I understand that. And it's a genuine question. But does he care right now? Absolutely not. That's not going to be the main part of his day, that frustration of, okay, did we win that game? Did we not? I think he's going to analyze it, and he's going to have to analyze it because guess what? The next games won't be so easy. The next Premier League game, it won't be like that. But here we are in mid-April. You're 6 points clear. You're through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Back-to-back, by the way. I think he's doing I've got to say, he's doing a remarkable job.
Well, Arteta hit out at the kind of negativity around Arsenal. Declan Rice had his say after the game. I've got a quote here from him. He said, "Who cares what people think? All that matters is what the group thinks, so the players, what the manager thinks, and we're in another semi-final." Are Arsenal being unfairly criticised? Because they have been criticised.
Yeah, I think that it's very interesting because here we are that we're seeing Arsenal finding the evolution in terms of, okay, they've tried the all-out freestyle, front four, front five over the last few years, and they've got this close, narrowly missed out. And then Mikel Arteta's kind of looked at it, and he's seen, okay, where are our best attributes? Well, defensively, okay, let's be defensively the best. And defensively, they're the best in the league. So he's found different ways to try and win the Premier League. And I think you've got to commend that. You've got to appreciate that because we can't hear and just only think about Arsenal and only think of the Ian Wrights and the Anelkas and the Thierry Henrys and the Invincibles. And that's the only way that this Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. And that's the only style we want to see from them. What you want to see is a competitive team. Yes, they are that. Are they excellent, not attacking-wise? I think they still can improve. But defensively, the best, yes. And Mikel Arteta, every season, he's evolved his team. And it's just the next evolution of Arsenal. here they are, they're trying to win the league. And if you look at the last few years, they were in this position 3 years ago. And when they lost 4-1 against Manchester City, lost the league. Well, you've got to find the next evolution. But I think the most amazing thing is they continue to keep competing. This is back-to-back semi-finals of the Champions League. So they're now absolutely one of the best in Europe. In the Premier League, they've got to go and now see it out. 6 points clear, mid-April. You've got to obviously compete against Manchester City. And now it's about winning the league. Of course, they have to try and win the league. Absolutely, they have to try and win the league. And this is their season for them. Because if you don't win it now, it's going to be very hard to win it going forward. But I think they have the best man to take them forward. And I think when you look at the Premier League...
Manchester City have got the best man to take them forward, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pep Guardiola is the best.
So in terms of this title race...
Oh, absolutely.
What will Manchester City be thinking?
And when you look at April especially, Manchester City will feel that this is for them now. Because I think they'll have a real psychological advantage. But I think you always will take the points. Arsenal has 6 points clear. So you'd rather be in Arsenal's position, even though Manchester City will be the favourites. And yes, they've got Pep Guardiola. And normally in April, Manchester City are the ones that go and finish the season very, very strong. But that's what Arsenal have to do. They have to go and prove it this next month that they're now the new boys that they can do it. And I think that's where we're waiting for that. But I've got to say that we have to also give compliments to this Arsenal team because they're not free-flowing and super exciting attacking-wise always, but they've been the best team in the league. Not the most entertaining, I don't mean that. I just mean the most efficient. And when you kind of look at a team that can win the Premier League, well, every area, they tick a lot of boxes.
Sky Sports are partnered with Finalysis to discover true fan opinion. To have your say on your club, download the Finalysis app and now scan the QR code on your screen for more details. Nick Karamanlis joins us now, Arsenal fan. Right, Nick, it is job done, but did you want to see more?
I mean, it's job done and it's great, but it felt a little bit different at the final whistle than it should have done. I'm so torn on this. I've been so positive and defended them the whole season, but I just can't help the way I feel. Now, don't know, hear me out here because it feels like therapy for me now. What I saw yesterday was quite an average sporting team, in my opinion, anyway. I've seen a lot better bottom of the table Premier League teams come to the Emirates. And I know the highlights might show a little bit differently, but I don't feel like we really laid a glove on them. I wasn't actually that worried about Sporting scoring, funnily enough. And maybe you could argue that we didn't actually need to go out and blow them away and beat them. But the feeling in the ground was different last night. Now, there's always a lot of negative energy around Arsenal on social media. But when you're in the ground, it's always quite positive. And it started like that last night as well. Before the kick-off, it was one of the loudest atmospheres I've heard, similar to last year's quarter-final. And then the game kicked off, all good. But for the first time, as soon as there was a forward pass that was on, that went sideways or backwards, the groans came out. It wasn't toxic, it wasn't booing, but it just felt like the whole energy deflated a little bit. And I think people were starting to get sick of the way we're playing. And I think the Bournemouth game was a massive, massive turning point for us. We just don't seem to have anything going forward anymore. And there was no cohesion last night with the four players. It's like they've forgotten how to play as soon as we crossed that halfway line.
But on a Sunday, you're away, so straight away that might help in regards to what you've just said. And also, if you haven't got much going forward and you end up drawing 0-0, no bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll take a 0-0 now, definitely. I'm worried. Because the thing is, you could argue that, I mean, City, with their attacking prowess, they probably will score, they should score. What happens then? And the thing is, right, when you look at the front three for us that started recently, Gyökeres, Martinelli, Madueke, it's been kind of the front three lineup. What gives us the God-given right to think those three should be blowing teams out the park? Forget City. I can name a number of Premier League teams with a better starting three at the front than that. Eze last night was the only one that looking to make things happen, but he had no one to kind of bounce off. And what everyone is forgetting is is we haven't had a fit and firing Odegaard and Saka. One is our captain, who seems to dictate the whole play, and the other one is our star boy that's responsible for a lot of goals. And a big chunk of creativity is lost there. And the one thing that's highlighted, I think, so far this season is the drop-off in quality with our squad. The signings probably haven't worked.
Would you have said that when Eze signed earlier in the season? Because I remember very recently that when Eze signed, it felt as if, and when Gyökeres signed, it felt as if that was it. Those were the final pieces. We got somebody in top class in Eze. We got a goal scorer now in Gyökeres. And Gyökeres has scored goals, by the way. Let's not discount him. He scored goals. You know, the first time in 10 years that somebody's reached that many for Arsenal. So what's the feeling? What's the reason there's such a... Is it just anxiousness, or what is it?
Well, see, I've got no problem with Eze. Eze last night was trying to make things happen, but it was bouncing off Gyökeres left, right, and centre. He couldn't do a 1-2 with him. Gyökeres hasn't worked for me. I know he scored the goals. I mean, look, you know, you can argue where he scored the goals, but it's just not working. He's not that. And I don't think it's Gyökeres' fault as such. I just don't think it's the way we play. I think we're better suited to someone that holds the ball up front. Like, that's why Mourinho's played so well when he's been up front, or Havertz. That style of player where we're playing off them. But we're losing because there's too many of those front players that are not playing at the moment. Martinelli hasn't worked for 3 years now, right? So we haven't addressed that left-hand side. And Saka hasn't been on form. Maybe he's been carrying an injury. And Odegaard can't seem to start and keep consistency. So there's a lot. I mean...
But here's my point. Are you getting spoiled because you now think you should be running away like the Invincibles with the glamorous entertainment? Because the other side of it is they're one of the best pressing teams in the whole league, and you're top of the league because of some of that front 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm more than... this is where I'm so torn, right? Because look where we are. We're top of the league. We're in semi-finals of Champions League. It's all great. But it's the way we're playing at the moment is not good at all. And you can argue... You could argue that's nerves. I don't know. You could argue that's... I think our in-game adaptability is not good. Pep, in the Carabao Cup, showed everyone how to play against us. 4-man press, go for it, and we can't seem to adapt. Why can't, in the first 10, 15 minutes, we go long and miss that press? Make the opposition
but you can't do that.
We can't seem to do that.
You can't throw away your whole philosophy. Mikel Arteta doesn't do that.
But could he find a way, though?
Going long, you're now going to hate your team for hitting long balls.
But could he find another way? Could he find another way? I mean, he's proven that he's a very good manager. Can he find another way of getting through the press?
I don't exactly. I don't want us to just go long, but just mix it up a little bit. We started the season a little bit like that, and we just can't seem to do that. That Carabao Cup, it reminds me of, you know, when Harry Kane was taking corners in the World Cup and everyone knew what was wrong and we could see what was wrong. And that's what Arsenal's like at the moment. We just can't seem to change. Bournemouth game was a prime example. I mean, Raya's foot was on the ball for so long, and we just seem to try and play a pass out of the back, which wasn't there.
Do you think they've been rocked?
Just go long.
I was at the League Cup final when Pep Guardiola changed it in the second half, almost this 4-2-4. And it felt like Arsenal they struggled with that solution. Iraola did the same thing for Bournemouth on the weekend. For me, they're just a little bit rocked in terms of, this is not what we expected. I think that's part of where the Arsenal are really struggling right now, is when teams are changing it tactically against them, and then there's that, what's next?
You've just proven my point. It's that in-game adaptability that we don't have. I mean, I think Roy Keane said recently, maybe that's on the players. Sometimes you get a feeling for the game, you have to change the way you're playing. And then Ian Wright was saying, but Arteta won't let them do that. And I was sat behind Arteta last night, constantly waving them, constantly telling them where to go. I mean, you're taught when you're coaching kids football not to overmanage them while they're in the game, but it seems to be very structured. And you could see Eze looking over all the time, and Trossard looking over and going, and he's having a go and go back. maybe it's just too much and we just can't adapt and the players are getting nervous. I don't know. I don't know where to lay the blame.
I think what you will find
going forward are good enough.
I think what you will find is, I think with the likes of Pep Guardiola, the likes of even Jurgen Klopp and the likes of Mikel Arteta, I think there's so much detail there that the fans can't see, and the details of what he sees in the game, that for him, he's helping the players because it's spaces, right? It's spaces within it. So it can look sometimes that, he's coaching them too much, but actually you've got a 12th player almost who sees things on the pitch higher than most of the players, and then he's telling them exactly where to go. Because that's why you're also top of the league. So you can't kind of discount that a little bit.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Nick,
it's okay. Listen, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. You're 6 points clear.
But see, this is the point, though. Mikel Arteta isn't very... You heard him, Nick, saying that the way people are talking is as though we're in the relegation zone, not in the semi-final of the Champions League, and 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. And Nick, this is actually the most negative I've heard you this season as well. So is that creeping in? This isn't just a media thing or a neutrals thing. It does seem like it's creeping into the fans.
It is, you know. I don't know if you heard Merson the other day. He summed it up perfectly. I came home last night. I switched on the TV. I was a little bit, we've gone through to semi-finals, and I just felt, all I kept thinking about while we were watching the game was the Man City game and how, oh my God, if they score, where are we going to get a goal from? Then I switched on the TV and I saw Mikel Arteta talk, and it's like that Men in Black moment. He's done the pen, and it just erased my memory. And I'm thinking, you know what? He's actually right. Yeah, we're back. Come on, we're top of the league. We're semi-final of the Champions League. He's just erased my memory. When I hear him talk, I think, that's all right. But hopefully that's what the players think as well. And
listen, you've got a top-class manager in Mikel Arteta, by the way. Let's not discount him. Let's not. I think put it this way: if you were saying this position where you are 6 points clear, back-to-back semi-finals at the start of the season, you would have been absolutely loving it and thinking, I love my team, right? And now, I think that we can't kind of have only a 2-week memory that, in these 2 weeks, we didn't score enough goals. I think one of the criticisms, I think Arsenal can score more goals. I think that's a lot of the frustration, that the Arsenal can be more fluent, can be more entertaining in the forward areas, because defensively, they're as good as you can get. But attacking, I think there's a lack of goals and entertainment in that area. And I think that's where the frustration comes from.
So they've got to get through Atletico Madrid in the semi-final. And Nick, our poll today is who is going to win the Champions League. First of all, do you get past Atletico Madrid? And if you do you win the Champions League? At the moment, our view is very much on the side of Bayern Munich, PSG and Arsenal in third. But it looks like everyone thinks Arsenal are getting through at the final. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, we've got players coming back and a fit and firing squad, of course. I'm confident because Arsenal's, we've done it before against them. We've beaten them before and we've beaten them quite comfortably before. I know it's very different now. I think maybe Arsenal's biggest opposition is themselves half the time. But I think once we've got a few players back, then, we should have enough to get to the final at least. OK, Rob, quickly.
I think it's interesting to see going against Atletico. Diego Simeone has done a great job, yes? Yeah, I think we all agree that.
Yeah.
And he's reached 2 league titles in over a decade. I think